Thanks for joining us for another edition of Weekend Winners, proudly brought to you by 1Equine. For the equine athlete, we go back to Albion Park Saturday night, 10 races, and the feature is race number 4. It's the Jim McNeil Trotting Championship Final. So we've had the heats, the 2 rounds of heats over the past fortnight, and we come together for the final. And for the first time, we go up in distance. The heats have been over 2,138 metres. We're at 2,647 metres for the final. Most are thinking it's a race in 3, hide and seek, defensive Guy and Gus. How will it play out? Well, we'll wait and see. In this edition of Weekend Winners, we're going to speak with Grant Dixon and Angus Garrard. Grant Dixon joins us now to go through his runners on the Saturday night, and he's in the hot seat. Grant, appreciate the time.
No worries, Chris.
First and foremost, is the big guy, Larry, ready to go for next week?
Oh, look, me and Trista are happy with him. He's travelled back good. He seems bright and happy at home again. So we just hope, have another good sort of 10 days with him leading up to the race, and, hopefully we'll get a good shot at him.
All right. If you could pick your barrier draw for the Miracle Mile, what would you choose?
Oh, look, I was sort of thinking 3, 4, 5, but I did hear the other day that barriers 6, 7 and 8 have never won the mile since they've been at Menangle, but Fred Hastings was going to check the record book, so I definitely don't want barriers 6, 7 or 8.
That's an obvious one, so somewhere in the middle will be just nice, so we'll wait and see. All the best with him. Race 1, Saturday night, Pacifico Dream. This is a cracking race. There's plenty of high-quality runners here. Your guy's going exceptionally well. Can he take this race?
Oh, Chris, we've been happy with him. He's been running, good races, sort of running, second, back to fourth sort of thing. Around the place. He's a good old horse. He just probably needs a little pinch of luck there somewhere, and he'll be in the mix somewhere.
Are we going forward from that gate?
Oh, I think over the short course you've got to go forward, at least try and get in a forward spot, because the tempo of the races now are so great. It's hard to make too much ground from back.
Yeah, it looks like this race will generate good speed as well. So we'll wait and see there. What about race 2? Red Star Deal, We Always Have Faith. You're going to drive We Always Have Faith. Trista is driving Red Star Deal. Is there a preference here with any of these two?
Oh, look, they're both racing okay. Red Star Deal is just an honest little fella that'll, bop up and win his MO on a night, whether it's Saturday night or not, I'm not sure. But he's racing honest and consistent, and We Always Have Faith. He just keeps getting plagued by fairly difficult draws, and he's racing okay, but he sort of does bring a bit of trouble upon himself. So, hopefully, one day he'll start putting it all together, and we might see a reasonable horse. Yeah,
it's a fair point you make with barrier draws, though. I'd love to know how many times he's drawn 7.
Yeah, a couple of them were self-inflicted, but after that, he has been. Just constantly, out, and just not a good barrier draw anyway. But anyway, hopefully the tide will turn for him.
All right, this race is over 2,138 metres. Does that suit both of your horses, or do you prefer them at the mile?
I think they're reasonably versatile. Probably, We Always Have Faith. He probably does prefer a mile, but I don't think it'll worry him too much. It gets back to tempo early, whether they can get into it, especially him from the wide alley. He's probably going to be worse in midfield, so it'll just depend on tempo of race for him.
Okay, the main race on Saturday night, the Jim McNeil Trotters Championship Final, representing your stable is Banff. Now, he's been good through the series so far. In saying that, many are sort of starting to think it's a race in 3, hide and seek, defensive Guy, Gus. How do you sort of see this Jim McNeil this year?
Yeah, I think that's pretty right, Chris. Banff's a neat little fella, and I think in time he'll do a good job, but he's still sort of learning his trade and getting his nerve about himself, and he'd need to get a really good trip to get a place, but I don't think he's wasting his time out there, but I do think there's a few classy runners in it.
Okay. With those classy runners, that being said, they're just a little bit chancy at the start. Hide and seek, Gus in particular. Defensive Guy normally fairly solid. So if they make errors early, that certainly increases your hopes of winning.
Yeah, you sort of, you don't wish anyone bad luck, but, that's the only way we're probably going to succeed is if a few of the fanciers, just don't have a clear run at them or something goes amiss for them, and we might get in the mix.
All right. Both heats so far, 2,100. We're stepping up to the 26. Does that suit your guy?
Look, I do think 2,100's more his cup of tea, but they're probably all in the same boat though. most of them haven't had a lot of 2600 metre racing for a long time now. So yeah, they're probably all up, against, in the same boat, like I say.
Okay. Race 5, Saturday night, Chamonix, 2 off the second row. He should be very competitive here.
Yeah, he's racing consistently there most Saturday nights. We've had a little bit of trouble with him lately, just hanging out a bit, so we've done a couple of gear changes for Saturday night and hoping that might just straighten him up a little and get him to go a little bit straighter, which should improve him a little tiny bit.
How do you see the speed and tempo in this race?
I'll tell you the truth, I haven't had a good look at it yet. I sort of try and go day by day as we get to the meetings, but yeah, but we just rely on it. He really can't make a move. He's just got to rely on tempo early, and that's how it pans out.
All right. Race 9, 2 runners here. Bombardier Jujon, Commodore Jujon. Both are racing in really good form. So are they winning hopes here?
Look, I'm really happy with the way Bombardier's going. I think he'll be a chance in most races now if he can just get a pinch of luck somewhere. Commodore's probably coming up in class a little bit, going back to Saturday night. So, and just drawn out a bit, he might find it a bit harder, but I think Bombardier's our best chance there.
Okay. Trista gets the drive on Bombardier. Was that up for grabs, or Trista was always driving Bombardier?
He goes particularly well for her, and she won on him the other day, so I thought it was probably a logical choice for her to drive him.
Yep, fair enough. And the last 2 runners again here, Freya and Blackjack Bart. Probably looks a little sticky on paper, the draws, 3 and 7. How did you read it?
Yeah, Freya's probably going fair, probably needs a bit of luck. Blackjack Bart's going quite okay. He just probably lacks a little bit of determination from time to time. So, and barrier 7 is like you say, they're both a bit sticky, and yeah, barrier 7 might put pay to his chances unless they run the race really upside down.
Okay, so of your runners then on Saturday night, which one looks the most likely?
Oh, I'd probably say Pacifico Dream, I'd say.
All right, nice and early. Race 1, number 4. Hey, really appreciate the time. We wish you all the best on Saturday night and for the week ahead. Go well again.
Thanks, Chris. Cheers.
Angus Garrard slides into the hot seat to go through his book of drives on Jim McNeil Trotting Championship Race Night, and he's with us now. Angus, appreciate the time.
Not a problem, my pleasure, Chris.
This first race, this is a ripping race. You can pretty much make a case for every horse in this field. You're driving one of the major players in Bangkok DJ, but how did you see it?
Yeah, I agree. It's a super strong race, and, sort of none of these in this field would surprise if they bobbed up.
All right, your guy's chasing 5 on the bounce, so he's in career best form, no doubt about it. Gate 5, it's only a mile. Could that be a little sticky early?
Yeah, it's a little bit tough to work out, especially sort of not having a run for, I'd say, a month, 5 or 6 weeks. So, yeah, it's a little tricky for us to work out, but hopefully it can pan out okay when the gate leaves.
All right. Fitness-wise, how do you sort of play it here with Bangkok DJ? Normally he's a horse that goes really well fresh.
Yeah, I think Shane will have him pretty spot on. As you say, he races well fresh, and I'm sure if he needed a hit out, he would have given him a trial there somewhere. So I'm pretty confident he'll still be pretty right for Saturday night.
Okay, just looking back at his last start here, he was awesome. He can follow speed and he can deliver a really quick closing quarter. So looking at this race, although it's probably a little tricky to sort of map, the harder the better they go, he'll be at the finish, surely.
Yeah, 100%. That'd be sort of ideal scenario if they run it nice and solid and we can drive him for one run again. But, I'm not sure how it works out on paper. So we may have to drive differently, but as I said before, we'll just have to see how it plays out when the arm leaves.
Have we seen the best of him so far this preparation, or do you think there's still more to come?
Oh, it's hard to say. He has definitely stepped up this prep. So, I think once he gets up in grade a little more, like this race on Saturday night, we could see a better horse again following speed. But, it's hard to say. He's been some sort of good miles this time in, and hopefully he can continue.
All right. He's always been blessed with ability, and there's always been that sort of rap about him. But is it just a maturity thing? Has he finally filled into his frame and he's finally starting to deliver on the promise that he showed early?
Yeah, I think so. I think Shane made a few changes with his sort of routine at home, but yeah, I think you're right. He has just matured and sort of got his head screwed on the right way now, and sort of wants to race and wants to win. So yeah, we're definitely sort of seeing a much better horse now.
Okay, well, he's chasing 5 in a row, but that is a cracking race to start the card. Let's go across to race 4, the feature on the night. This is the Jim McNeil Trotters Championship final. Clean sweep of the 2 heats so far, Defensive Guy. 3 for 3 this prep. Speaking of horses in the zone, this is him, Defensive Guy. He is just loving life right now.
Yeah, for sure. He's just a stallion that's sort of right in the right mindset at the moment, and it's showing in the results.
Yeah, is it a case with him? I know he's had his fair share of little niggles along the way, but he's just a fit, healthy, happy horse right now.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Maddie's got him spot on, and he's been racing accordingly. You know, he's had some tough trips, and you know, he's run super races this time in.
Okay. This field, it's a capacity-sized field, so 14 will start. We're over the longer journey. The heats have been over 2,138 metres, so we're up to 2,647 metres. As big a field as it is, does it come down to this, and this only, Angus, just the start? Who gets it right out of Defensive Guy, Hide and Seek and Gus?
Yeah, I think it could, Chris. You know, obviously traffic's going to play a big part. You know, we're off 20, Gus is off 30, and Hide and Seek sort of jammed in there on the second line off the front. So, you know, traffic sort of could be an issue for all those main players, but I do agree it's probably going to be sort of a massive advantage to whoever begins best.
Of that trio, is your guy the safest?
I think that's fair to say. He's been pretty reliable all the way through, so hopefully that continues on Saturday night.
And the distance won't be any problem for him. He can run any sort of distance and run time as well.
No, that's right. He's a strong horse, and he's sort of strong with a bit of good high speed there too, so it's certainly an asset.
You wouldn't swap him for any other drive in the race?
No, I don't think so.
All right, well, that's a good push there for Defensive Guy. What about race 5? You team up here with Graham Dwyer. Luxury Lad, inside of the second row. I'm tipping that's not a bad draw here on Saturday night.
No, I think that's quite a good draw for him, providing this sort of solid tempo, so it definitely could work out.
Well, you're drawn behind Western Arterra. He ran a cracking race last week behind Hey There Joe, so if your leader's back or worst case 3 fence, it's a good spot to be at Albion Park at the mile.
Yeah, 100%. I think he can definitely be dangerous from either of those positions.
All right. What about race 6? Keen to talk to you here. This is the open class race. Manila Playboy got left out of the sprints. The Miracle Mile qualifies on Saturday night, so he's back in his own backyard. He comes up with gate 2. Can you make a bit of a statement here with Manila Playboy?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. It's definitely the best draw he's come up with for a while, so that's sort of nice to see, and I think it's a good little race, that one.
That last start effort in Sydney at Menangle, sectionally, he couldn't have done any more. He must have just blown the hands off the clock that night.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. I think he came the last mile in 51 and a piece, and I think his middle half was 53.8 and his last half was 53.9, so they sort of don't go much quicker off the track.
Yeah. So how does this race set up? You've got a speed horse drawn to your inside, Northview Hustler, and then at the other end of the front line, you've got Deus Ex and Turn It Up, who are both gate speed horses. How far can you push Manila Playboy, and how much do you want to get involved early here from your good gate?
It's probably just a wait and see job, to be honest, Chris. I'm probably as interested as anyone to see what happens early, particularly sort of Deus Ex and Turn It Up. You know, sort of looked on their runs a couple of weeks ago like Deus Ex could have held Turn It Up, but yeah, I'm sort of really interested to see what happens over the short, and I'm just going to have to sort of play it by ear and see what sort of spot we can get without burning too hard.
Okay. Your final drive Saturday night, Kiang Moonshine. Did she surprise you in any way, shape or form last week?
No, she actually didn't. I have sort of got a little bit of time for her. She's a mare that sort of tries really hard, and you know, she's been up here a few times before and not had much luck, so it's sort of been good to see her run a few races this time up. Okay,
so this is a little harder on Saturday night. You're drawn in the middle. Are you going forward?
I think if circumstances permit, we will. She tends to race good on speed, I think, and you know, she can do a little bit of work as she's shown the last few, and still finish off reasonable. So you know, if we can, we'll try and get forward again.
So she's capable of going back to back?
Yeah, I think she can if she turns up as good as at 100% and as good as she was last time.
All right, well, you've got some good drives there on Saturday night. Which one are you most looking forward to?
Obviously defensive guy and the Jim McNeil. I'm looking forward to that one. I think he's a great chance, and always Manila Playboy.
All right, excellent. Hey, really appreciate the time. We'll see you trackside.
No worries. Thanks, Chris.
As always, a big thanks to our drivers, Grant Dixon, Angus, Garrard, giving up their time and insights ahead of their drives this weekend. We wish them all the best, and hopefully there's a few winners coming their way. Now, we need to find a winner for this Big 10 race program. We kick off at 5:39, I think right in the middle of the card, race 5, number 3, Emma's Boy. I think this is the best bet on the weekend. Shane Graham booked to drive, comes up from down south with good recent form. I think he's the one. Race 5, number 3, that's the first leg of the quaddie, so it might be an easy way to start the quaddie, going one out there with Emma's Boy. He's our lock for the weekend. If you are gambling this weekend, please do so responsibly. We'll see you trackside at Albion Park, 10 races kicking off at 5:39.